Hello and hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more Fortnite news out there. And now all the talk around the town apparently accusing Epic Games of not paying out a tournament known as the Australian Open. If you guys were around back in January is when this tournament was actually going on. It was an Oceania or OCE tournament for $500,000. It was a solo and a duo event on top of that, but apparently now plenty of players out there reporting that their payments or their prize winnings have not been paid out by Epic Games. There are tons of articles out there, websites now accusing Epic Games, and I'm going to try and take their side for once, okay, for once in the history of the channel, and try and defend Epic Games, because it's not them who should be paying, it's the Australian Open, the organizer of the event, who should be paying out these prize pool winnings. Now apparently the winner, Jesse, I'm sure many of you guys know, well-noted name over in OCE. On top of that, he actually did win the solo event and win $70,000. I think around $100,000 total is the reported amount as well, but when you look at the Wikipedia, they only show the solo event on top of that, so at least $70,000, and his prize winnings apparently were paid out, but a long laundry list of names out there on a Google Doc have now been formed, and their reasons as to why they think they were not being paid is also been brought to public as well. I'll show you guys the list, and keep note as well, two of the highly noted names on there, Iraqi as well as Napper, have not been paid the two highest amounts of $50,000 each. But you'll also notice several players have actually apparently filled out their forms wrong as to how to be paid. And then very lastly, a couple players also saying that apparently Epic Games was in contact and did reply via email saying it was not an Epic Games sponsored event. So I'll show you guys that email as well on top of that, which does go on to prove, if that email is true, which I don't think these players have any reason to fake these emails, it does make a lot of sense because it is true. If you guys are not aware of this, it was organized by the Australian Open, which does make Epic Games not the organizer, and therefore this is a third-party event. The sole responsibility of paying out these players is simply not Epic Games. It is the Australian Open, who is also, of course, the sponsor of the event. They acquired many sponsors for the event on top of that, so therefore they should have the money to pay out these prize pools. The one thing I am a bit skeptical of, and again, is not a contractual agreement whatsoever, Epic Games, or of course the Fortnite official Twitter, they did promote this tournament. That is not a contractual agreement making them the host or the supporter of the event or having to pay out the prize pool winnings. When you simply look at the Wikipedia, guys, the organizer has the sole responsibility to pay out these amounts, and that's pretty simply how it should be. Just for a bit of cross-reference out there, you look at a current event for CSGO going on, IEM Sydney, you look at the organizer, it is IEM. IEM is the sole responsibility. They should be the people to actually pay out the amounts. You're not going to see people going back to Valve and saying, hey Valve, you owe us money. Valve, of course, the operator and runner of CSGO as well. They will blame IEM. They blame the organizer. That should be the same case here. I'm not really sure why people are all of a sudden freaking out at Epic Games about this. I'm sure these players will get paid. You look at the list out there, a few of the players simply actually messed up their forms to getting paid. Some forgot their W8s as well. So a lot of that kind of falls on the players' half. I'm sure they will get paid eventually. This is not Epic Games' fault. This is simply the Australian Open. They've had the sponsors. They organized the event. They should be paying out the players on top of that, and it should be kind of a relief as well. Most of the prize pool winnings were actually paid out. Of the $500,000 at the most, at the highest reported amount I've seen so far, of that $500,000, apparently upwards of just short of $200,000 have not been paid out. So it's a bit relieving that at least over $300,000 has been paid out so far. It's going to take a bit of time. Obviously, it's been 3 months since the event so far, and that's a bit of time to wait, but these players I am very sure will get paid. Let's just not fire arrows at Epic Games because everyone else does. The Australian Open should be solely responsible for paying these players. So that's the end of that story. If you guys have comments down below, feel free to leave them. I love reading through them. If you guys have different thoughts or disagree with me, I'd love to see your guys' disagreements as well. I just don't think we're blaming the right person here in this particular case. As always, my name is Jake. I hope you guys all enjoy Fortnite news. And until next time, take care.